Sandra, welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality and all things asexual. I share my own asexual journey in order to help you in yours. Who am I? I'm Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, founder of asexualise.com and founder of Asexualise Academy. As we go along in this video tonight, if you want to give me a thumbs up, if you like what I have to say, that would be awesome. Hello, Michael. Lovely to see you. Well, tonight I want to talk to you about why is conventional dating so hard. So, if you know me, you probably know that I don't usually watch TV. I do go to the cinema. I love going to the cinema. I'm going on a self-date tomorrow to the cinema. And tomorrow I'm celebrating 7 years of freedom of abuse from an abusive relationship, which I'm so glad to do. It's my anniversary tomorrow, November the 5th, which I'm so glad to do. It's my anniversary tomorrow, November the 5th, 7 years. So I'm going out on a self-date to the cinema to celebrate and watching the Nutcracker film, which is going to be very, very interesting. So I'm really proud of that, really happy to be doing that. And like I said, I like going to the cinema. I do watch some movies at home, DVD, Blu-rays, but I don't usually watch TV. Now, last night I decided I'd flick it as I've been playing my Kylie Showgirl video quite a lot because I quite like it on the background while I'm doing website work and stuff like that. It kind of like, it gives my mind something else to be occupied, because when I'm doing something that's a bit tedious or difficult, or not that enthusiastic about, it's kind of like monotonous work. I mean, I love lots of the stuff I do, but there's little bits I don't. And, it's nice to have something on the background, because you can kind of like be jolly to it. It cheers me up. But last night I thought, rather than, I was flicking it on and off as I was doing stuff, and I thought, oh, I was doing something else as well. I decided to do something else last night, some other type of work. And I thought, what I will do is I will just flick the TV on to see what's on. I haven't, watched TV for months. I think I purposely see a little bit of X Factor like 1 or 2 months ago. But unless I go around my parents, I don't usually see it. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I decided to watch a programme last night because, I talk about dating and relationships a lot on this channel, and it was on the theme of dating. So I thought, okay, Sandra, find out what they're doing in the big, wide, conventional world of dating these days. And it was an unusual programme. It's called Celebs Go Dating. And I don't usually watch stuff like this. I have watched, I have watched stuff with that thing with Paddy McGuinness years ago, where they go to the Love Island of Fernando. So I used to watch that dating show, which, it used to be like, oh my goodness me. And so anyway, I decided to watch Celebs Go Dating. I've never seen the programme, and they're through so many series now, apparently, because I've got it up on the web. I can't even remember the name of it. You can tell how much I like watching TV when I can't even remember the name of it. And it was only in the early hours of this morning. It wasn't even really last night. It was this morning, because I was up till like 7 or something this morning. So it was like, it's on all, well, they've got it on here as all 4. I think it was on repeat. It was on, was it on Channel 4 or some E4? I don't know. It was on some Channel 4 programme anyway. So to cut a long story short, I decided to watch it, and they had like back-to-back episodes of it. I think they had like 3 or 4 episodes, but I was doing something else at the time. I wasn't just doing that. I was preoccupied with doing lots of stuff. And I got stuff spread out on my bed, and I was busy doing typing things and all sorts. So it wasn't just I was watching that, but I thought I'd watch it and see how the traditional sort of conventional dating, obviously with it being celebs, it's not going to be totally conventional and traditional, because celeb stuff is very far out, as you know. And so I just wanted to see like what it was all about, basically. And when I was looking at it, it's just like there's a guy who's like the main there's 2 main people who do the agency. One is the guy who sort of runs the agency, the manager, and there's another guy called Tom, who's clearly very gay in it, and very camp, and speaks very interestingly, and loves hugging all the guys and girls. Who's a receptionist, Tom, and then he's quite a lovable character, though, I have to admit. And then there's the guy who's like runs the whole agency, and he was giving advice, and he brought some dating coaches in and stuff like that. A dating coach and like a person to help with flirting as well. So that was quite interesting to see what was going on with that. And in these particular episodes, they were showing like the main guy who runs the whole dating agency. They were saying there was this guy he was talking to, one of the celebs, who's well known to be a player. A player means, you know, a guy that goes after loads of women, basically. And as he was talking to him, he was giving some advice, and he was giving advice to other guys as well. And he was basically saying that it's okay to date multiple people. So go out on different nights with a different woman each night. But when you finally commit to one, you have to stay committed to that person. Then you don't see the others. Now, see, this to me is very hard from an asexual point of view, because I'm not used to doing that. You know, I'm just not used to doing that at all. And it seems like that is what's generally the norm nowadays, that when you date multiple people to see how you get on with each of them, and then you kind of pick one or don't pick one. But what was happening on this programme, not just with this particular guy, but there was other celebs, they were all like, oh yeah, really made a good connection with this person, like really love you, really like you, all the rest of it, how, you know, how it goes. Then they were going to see other women. I mean, it wasn't just women, there was women seeing men as well, but the woman that was seeing the man, it was a bit more open, I think. It was a bit more like, well, I'm seeing multiple guys, but the guys were doing it like on the sly, like on the quiet, if you know what I mean. So the guys running the agency said you should be honest, you know, if you're going to do it, it's fine to date multiple people, but you should be honest about it. You shouldn't, you know, you should basically say you're doing that to someone if they ask. Sorry, my chest is still back. And so I just find this concept really weird, because personally for me, I don't mind going out on dates with different guys if I've kind of ruled out the first one first. But what they do is they keep seeing different people, then they're going back on dates with different people, so they're seeing multiple people at all different times. And what's happening is, because they keep seeing people, they're like, oh, but I'm not sure if they're right, I might meet someone better. So they keep thinking all the time, I might meet someone better. And so they never actually really commit. And I think that is a big problem in the world with conventional dating, from what I understand, is that they always think a better option's going to come along. So long as they always think a better option's going to come along, they never actually commit to one person. And so they just go on a completely unending cycle of dating all the time. And it seems to me that in general, the majority of society are going that way. It's all about dating culture. No one really wanting to commit. No one really wanting to settle down. You know, I kind of get it, because I think it's good to keep your options open to a certain extent. But there comes a time where you have to, you know, we don't have to, but there comes a time if you want a decent quality relationship, you kind of have to commit. But I kind of understand the theory as well, that if you know, don't settle for second best, have a range. Maybe they're like dating. That's what I'm talking about, Michael. This is a dating show I'm talking about. So, I'm not sure on your point, Michael, because this is a dating show. That's what I'm saying. The people, do you mean that maybe they just like continually dating? But that's basically what I was trying to say, is basically, obviously I picked this up on the heterosexual dating site, the Plenty of Fish that I went on as well. The majority of people, they just want to date and date and date and date. But I find that concept really difficult. Like, when I dated that heterosexual guy a few weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago now, it was kind of like, I just wanted to, like, if he's not suitable, I kind of wanted to just end it with him and then move on. I'm quite happy to see another guy now, but although I prefer an asexual guy, and I'm not that bothered at the moment, but you know, it's kind of like, I want to say no to him, you're not suitable, and move on to another one if there is another one, or just not bother. Do you see what I mean? Whereas I just find it really difficult with conventional relationship dating as it is in society today. I mean, maybe they enjoy dating, only dating. I checked the timeline on the stream. I was behind those, so maybe you made that point and I skipped past it. Oh, okay, Michael. Yeah, so basically that is what I'm saying, yeah. So I think we're kind of saying the same thing, but I'm saying it in different words. But yeah, I get what you mean. So basically, yeah, they want a never-ending cycle of dating, but the reason they want that usually is because they don't want the commitment. Because if they commit and it goes wrong, they've put all that effort into someone, and then, you know, they're let down, they're heartbroken, and it's like starting all over again. So I do get that people are a lot more cautious these days. People have had their heart broken, you know, and I don't think you should commit to someone unless you really know them really well. And by that token, then I understand why people do date a lot. But I just personally find it a really difficult concept of dating different guys. Because if a guy was doing that to me, I wouldn't like it if he was doing it with women. I know they do it, but I wouldn't like it because I think, right, I'm kissing you tonight. Who are you going to be kissing tomorrow? I don't know where your mouth's been, up some other woman. I know lots of people who are sexual will think, you know, if you're a sexual person who likes to keep, you know, think sex is quite special and should be in a relationship. Like if a guy's dating you and you're sexual and you have sex with him, and then he has sex with another woman the night after, you probably think, well, he's a real, you know, even though he's dating, you probably think it's disgusting because you think, well, I thought I was special. I didn't realise he was dating other women and having sex with tons of other women. And it's kind of like me with the mouth thing. I'm thinking, well, if this guy's kissing me tonight, it could be kissing someone else tomorrow. If he's going to continue dating me, 5 days' time I might see him again. He's kissing me again. It's like, where's your tongue and mouth been? Do you see what I mean? Because I'm into kissing, not into sex. It's harder for me in that way because it's like I don't want to be kissing someone who's just kissed loads of women. It's a bit like I'm kissing him and getting the saliva of the other woman off him. Do you know what I mean? It's a really weird way of thinking, but that's kind of how I think. You know, like if you're having sex, not that I want sex, but if you are, you can have a condom. You can know, do you know what I mean? So if he's been on someone else, at least there's some sort of like, you know, barrier between you and whatever he's done with someone else. Not that I agree with that, you know, personally. I don't want to have sex, and even if I did, it wouldn't be out of a relationship. And it certainly would be within something really serious, but I don't want that ever in my life again. But that's what, you know, that's where I'm at. But, you know, I just find it really hard concept because it's like, well, where's your mouth been? Like, you're kissing some other woman, now you're kissing me. I find that, like, repulsive. And to me, it's like, well, if you want the other woman, go and get the other woman. I just can't be bothered, do you know what I mean? I think it's just like, if a guy doesn't know I'm the one for him by spending time with me, then fine, go and find someone else. I'm not bothered about you. Do you know what I mean? I don't need that in my life. I need a guy who appreciates me and recognises my good qualities. But then in the other side of that, what dating coaches would say to that is, well, they don't know you, like just like you don't know them, because it takes months to know someone. So maybe they are going to be right for you, but they don't know it yet. Maybe you're going to be right for them. But I think, to be honest, a lot of the time dating coaches also say that you tend to know very soon on. When you just meet someone, you have like intuition, but often you ignore it. So you can kind of feel like where this person's right for you to date or to be in a long-term relationship with, or maybe even marriage. Some people even think that. Men probably wouldn't think that so much. Women would probably usually think that. But that's being very stereotypical, but masculine and feminine. But do you know what I'm saying? There are some guys that come full on as well. But I don't think they mean it half the time. So a lot of guys just say what you want to hear. And it was quite interesting to see the programme as well. See how this guy, who is known as a player, even by they had his nan on there, and I think it was his mum or something as well. And they knew he was a player, you know, after loads of women all the time. They said every time you get a new girlfriend, it's like, this is the one forever. And then it's like, no, it's not. I'm not with her anymore. And that's how he goes. So, yeah, it was really interesting to watch the dynamics. And I kind of understand where they're coming from, because you have to try a lot. You can theoretically have to try a lot of people out before you could get the right one, or no one's right for you, because you don't know them till over a long period of time. So I kind of get the ideology behind it. But personally, I find it really hard to come to terms with that. Like, I'm very much a monogamous person, and I'm sort of like just for one guy. I don't want a ton of guys, even though I get attracted to a lot of guys, if that makes sense. It's weird. So I don't know if I could ever do traditional dating, but I can see where they're coming from. In order to find out more about what people's like, you need to spend time with them over a period of time. And in the past, I would have jumped too soon into a relationship and not really known the person. And that's like equally as bad, you know, because it was bad for me. And it's equally as bad in the sense that I didn't get to know them. I just jumped in, which I'm not doing in the full relationship sense anymore. But it's kind of like, you know, dating lots of guys will stop me, you know, different guys will stop me jumping just for one guy who may not be suitable for me, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I don't know if I could do it. I'd feel like bad in myself that I was deceiving. I mean, obviously, I can tell the guy, I'm seeing lots of other guys, but it just seems really weird. It just seems like, well, you don't really care about that one person you're with then. If you're going around telling him you're seeing other people, and I don't think really a guy wants to know that you're going to see other people unless he asks you. And then if he doesn't ask you, I feel kind of weird that I'm doing that, like I'm being a two-timer or deceiving person. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's, I don't know if that's just something I struggle with or something other asexuals struggle with, because I think with asexuals, we tend to be a lot more focused on personality, on human connection, on all the things that sex doesn't encompass. And I think when with conventional dating, they're focused a lot more on the sex. I mean, that was clear last night on the programme that they're quite focused on sex. I mean, some of them in particular, you know, you know, I mean, they were making comments like they were playing, this one bloke and woman were playing like this ping pong with drinks, and the balls were going, the little ping pong ball was going in the drinks, and they had to drink the drinks, and she going, oh, your dick's in my way, I can't concentrate. I'm like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? Asexuals don't really have that type of thing going on to worry about and say. We'd more likely want to play ball games or something, or go and do bowling, or talk about books or something. Sorry, my chest is really bad. But yeah, I've been on the phone today for over 200 minutes to my web host trying to sort my asexualist.com site out again. And the woman on the phone said that I sound like nasally and strange, and she doesn't even know me. And I said, yeah, I've got a chest infection. It's like 2.5 weeks now, you know? And so I don't see the fun of that situation. Yeah, I just find it really hard, Michael, because I am a romantic person. I kind of like you know, I like going out for dates, but I kind of like, I like commitment more than dating. Do you know what I mean? I'm more of a commitment type of person, but then I don't want to get into a situation where I commit to someone too soon. I really don't know them and they end up horrible again. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really difficult. I think, you know, I think dating for anyone, whatever sexuality you are, whatever orientation you are, you know, I think it's difficult for anyone. But I think when you throw into the mix of the fact you don't want sex and the fact you're very loyal, faithful and monogamous, I think it's quite hard. You know, it's hard for me personally to wrap my head around seeing multiple guys at once. I mean, one of my friends, well, more than one of my friends has done it, but they, you know, they seem not too bad about it and like not too worried about it. It's kind of like become their normal, really. But, you know, it's hard when I've seen actually two of the people that she was seeing, one of my friends, you know, and they were in the same room together. They were both ended up turning up together at the same, well, I say room, it was pub, you know. And both, two of her love interests, both ended up turning up at the same time, which was quite weird and bizarre. And she went with one of them, but not the other. And it's just bizarre, you know. But like she told, you know, like she said, these people aren't really looking for commitment, you know. So it's kind of really difficult. I think, you know, I just find it really hard. And I think as an asexual, obviously traditional dating's really tough as it is. But I think when you know, even the thought of going out on a date, for example, with a lot of asexuals, well, a lot of asexuals, not all, because I've had sex and been in long-term relationships, quite a lot of asexuals haven't even been in a relationship, let alone had a date. You know, and so even the prospect of dating one person, as in going on a date to out for a meal or to the cinema, with a potential that they could get together, I think that's quite a daunting thing in itself, because that's quite like a big deal in their life. You know, it's kind of like they're not used to, you know, they're not used to that type of thing. So even to go on one date is quite special and a big significant leap in their life. And I kind of like that idea of it being special, you know. I like the idea of when you meet someone and go out and date, it's because you've kind of really chosen them and you've made a huge effort and you've got out of your comfort zone because you really care about them. Whereas with sexuals in general, not all sexuals, I'm not saying the whole world's like this, but with sexuals and sexual dating in general, it's kind of like, well, because they love the sex or whatever, it's like, yeah, let's go on some dates. If it ends up with sex, it's great. And this is kind of the mentality of it. It's kind of like, and then it's kind of like normal and part of everyday life to just see multiple guys or multiple girls. And then it's not a special effort just to meet that one person. Do you see what I mean? Well, I think with asexuals, it's more, they're coming from a place more of a potential real love in their heart and in their soul. Or at least that's where I like to come from. But, you know, if I start dating heterosexuals or, you know, it's kind of like you kind of got to do that in a way because it's a norm. I mean, you don't have to do it, but it's like kind of like the way I could do it is like just like seeing one guy, and if it's not suitable, you know, not see him again. But like, you don't know sometimes if they're not suitable or not. Do you know what I mean? Just by one date, you can't really tell. And then if you have multiple dates with that one person, but they're seeing a ton of other people, you can end up being a bit clingy or end up being a bit like upset. They're seeing other people and you're not. So yeah, I think it's really tough. I think it's particularly tough for asexuals, you know, like our choices are quite limited in the amount of other asexuals around us. I mean, the asexuals are 1% of the population, a recorded 1%. I think there's more than that because I think there's a lot of people hiding because they're afraid to come out and scared of what people will think of them. So I think there's a lot more than that. But I saw a video recently and they said it's around 1% is around 75, is it million or billion people? I don't know. I need to re-look at that actually. Is it million or billion? I think it's a billion. But anyway, it's around, well, it's a large number, 1% of the whole population, isn't it? So I don't even know what the whole population is because I don't really look at those statistics and keep up with them. But I should do, obviously. But I just think 1% of the population is 1 in every 100. So there are quite a lot of asexuals around, you know. In a city, you can go past a few hundred people at a time, can't you? Do you know what I mean? Society thinks you're weird if you don't date. I think they are weird in every way. What's normal anyways? Yeah. Exactly, Heather. Nice to see you. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't think there's a problem with not dating. I don't think there's a problem, personally, if you know, if like an aromantic person like yourself, Michael, doesn't want to date, be in a relationship, quite happy on your own, never needing that in their life. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. I'm not like other people who doesn't think that. Like you say, Heather, there's quite a few people that think it's strange, but I actually think it's a really good thing. You know, I think it's a lot less hassle, a lot less drama, to be quite honest. You know, but unfortunately, I'm not made up totally like that. You know, I'm a hugely romantic person. I'm better than I used to be, as in I manage it better. As in I'm, you know, like, since my last date of a lot of kissing as well, that was quite good for me. And not good for my chest and my health. As in I'm still suffering like 2.5 weeks later. But it's good in terms of, like, I had that kissing experience, which I needed in terms of kissing because I really miss that. But, you know, it's kind of like, oh, I've done that now. I'm all right for a little bit. By the time I got my kissing fix after 4 years. I did wait a long time for it. But obviously, if I was going out dating, I could kiss a lot more. But, you know, I can only kiss guys who I like kissing. Not anyone. Foreign guys is where it has to be. Very specific. But yeah, so I think it's really difficult. I just think it's so hard as an asexual, but it's because it's kind of like, if you do happen to summon up the courage to go on a date in the first place, that's a huge deal. And then if you have to think about the concept of doing it multiple times with multiple people, who, you know, if they're not asexual, probably aren't going to be suitable for you anyway, it's kind of can be like a major headache, you know? And unfortunately, the majority of society is still made up with heterosexuals. So the likelihood of romantic asexuals going on dates with sexuals is quite high. You know, so I think this is something that I personally struggle with, and I think it's something that other asexuals struggle with, and I just wanted to kind of reach out and just say my thoughts and feelings on it, really, because I just think it needs to be discussed, and I just think, you know, can other people relate? You know, I mean, I always think I'd rather just, you know, if I am doing date, I'd rather see one person than stop it. But I know, you know, if they're not suitable, and I think it's good in a way because I think there can be a lot of red flags come up. Like I said earlier, a lot of dating coaches, they say usually there's red flags in the beginning, like your brain might know instinctively this person isn't right. There's something about them, what they're talking about, or their actions don't meet their words, or their life goals aren't the same as yours. And there's something they say, and you know that it's not really going anywhere, but because you're in the adrenaline loved up moment, basically, you kind of like go along with it, and then you get more and more attached to the person because there's these huge romantic, I know if you're not romantic, this doesn't really apply. Yeah, but you know, there's you know, you've got these huge romantic feelings, and they kind of like attach you to this person quite quickly. They can do. And then you know, and then you can be left like thinking what happened, and I'm in a relationship with this person, but I know they're no good for me in certain ways, but I love them anyway. And that's how you end up in a relationship with a bad person who someone's wrong with you. So I do think it's good to date multiple people in the sense that if it helps you not to get attached to one person. But at the same time, I just don't think it's a healthy thing to do in terms of, well, me personally, I feel like I just want to give love to one. I like giving love to my friends in a friendship way, but I just would rather give my love to just one particular person. But maybe that's why I've gone wrong in the past. I know that's why I've gone wrong in the sense I've jumped in too soon. So theoretically, I should get into dating and date multiple guys, but I just find that so hard. I just thought it's not my personality. I've not been brought up that way, and even nowadays I don't believe it's right in my heart of hearts. I just think it's, how can you see one guy one night and another guy the next night? And you know, it's like on this Celebs Go Dating show, it's like they were paying compliments to this person, say how much they cared, saying they were really like acting like the guys were really besotted with the women like they do sometimes, and then they would be going and seeing another woman pretty much saying the exact same thing to them. And it's like, where's the honesty? Where's the integrity? Where's the truth? You know? Surely you can't feel exactly the same about multiple women all the time. It just seems weird. And they were connecting on a deep level. And I kind of like, I connect with people on deeper levels these days than I used to. I emotionally connect with people like I've never done before, particularly asexuals. But, you know, it's kind of like I want one ultimate soulmate where I deeply connect with them even in an even really, 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 really deeper level. But like the dating coach has said, that they don't think it's good to believe that you got a soulmate. They think it's because if you just think you've got one person out of millions, then, or billions on planet Earth, then it'll be like, you know, you could end up being with the wrong person because that person you try to make be the one for you, even if you know there's something fundamentally not right, which is like the red flags. But then if you split up, you'd say, well, they weren't the one anyway, and you go searching for this one person. But the reason I believe in soulmates is because my parents are. They've been married 50 years next year. You know, I'm like, I said to my mum, you know, you're the only person that could be with my dad to be with him like he actually is, because it's just like, I love my dad to bits, but he's a very acquired taste, shall we say. You know, unless my dad changed, you know, something happened, and he changed the way he is, you know, only my mum is really made for him. I truly believe that. You know, obviously, like I said, if he changed, then, you know, probably more women would like him. But he's a very, how can I put it, very intelligent guy, but a specialist niche, shall we say. I'm not saying too much because obviously I love my parents and I don't really talk about my parents on this channel. So, yeah. And then, you know, and then I've seen other people that I've spoke to, and they seem to be with their soulmate as well. I know one person who's been with his partner since they're 14 years old. They've been together like 7 years or something. And then he was going to ask her to marry him this year. I don't know if he did because he was in my old job and I left there because I was made redundant. So, yeah. So I do believe in soulmates. So I kind of like, I always believe that the one person will find you, or you'll find them, or you'll find them in another lifetime, maybe, if it's not in this one. Because I believe I've got an asexual soulmate. But, do you know what I mean? I haven't found him yet. I don't know where the heck he is, but maybe I'm not going to meet him in this life. I don't know. I like to think I will. I'm hopeful, but maybe just not right now. It's a good time. So anyway, I'd love to know what you think. I'm going to end this video now. I think I've given my thoughts a lot. What do you think? Meantime, put your comments down there. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the discussion. You know, share in the comments below what you think. Do you find it hard dating, asexual dating, you know, dating another asexual, trying to even think about dating an asexual? You know, is that a huge step for you? Because I think that's a big step for other people. I mean, even me, I haven't been on an in-person actual date with another asexual person yet, you know? I haven't had that. I've met up with people who are asexual, but it's never been a date. You've never dated Michael. Yeah, I know. You don't want to though, do you? I think, you know, even if you have a date with an asexual, I do think it's, you know, I think that's going to be a big thing in your life, you know? I know not you personally might do it, but if anyone's listening to it and you have, you know, some of the courage to have a date with an asexual, in a way, it's even more terrifying because there's loads of sexuals out there, you know what I mean? It's quite commonplace, whereas having a date with an asexual person is very, very rare. So I think in that sense, it could be even more terrifying because you want it to go well, because you know that we're not a huge proportion of the population, so that you know that you really would like it to work out. Whereas if you're dating a sexual person, it's kind of like, well, this is the way I think nowadays. There's like tons of sexual people out there. An asexual would suit me better. So if a sexual person's not so right for me on the date, it doesn't really matter because I can go and date another one. Do you know what I mean? If I really want to. Not that, yeah, but I am acquired taste, obviously, with what I like, being foreign, guys. So yeah, I think it's really quite a huge deal if you're trying to date another asexual, but I think it's really mind-blowing as well if you're trying to like get into traditional dating, because it blows my mind, because it's just not how my personality naturally is. I'm always like if that person's not suitable, you just tell them, be honest, move on, that's fine, but don't hurt anyone's feelings, you know, because I'd hate to be going out dating loads of guys and the guy I actually was dating originally didn't do that and he thought I was just into him. I'd feel like I was deceiving him and lying to him, you know what I mean? And I guess I could tell him I'm seeing other guys, but then I feel bad. But then I'm a type of person that does feel bad about stuff like that. Maybe I have to change. I don't know if I can on that, because fundamentally I don't want to become a bad person, someone who goes around like just with loads of guys all the time. Maybe people don't think that's a bad thing. I don't know. It's not really up to other people what it is. It's up to how I feel at the moment. I find it very strange and awkward to even contemplate seeing multiple guys at once. I just prefer to finish the whole thing with one. Or even if I remain friends with them, I guess it'd be okay. But, you know, friends gets complicated. If you fancy each other and are attracted to each other and you talk about just being friends, the majority of the time it never works out. Because it's not really what you believe or want. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to make something work when clearly you're attracted to each other, just you're not suitable for each other. So a lot of the time it's better to split ways, but not always. Sometimes it can work. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the content. Please share it with anyone who may benefit, or, you know, you want to raise some debate with them about what they think. Thanks, Michael, for tuning in. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do. Hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I post a new video. Thanks for tuning in, Michael, and thank you for tuning in, Heather. I will see you on the next live stream. Have a great day. Bye. Bye, Heather. Bye.